Oh, it was good, guys. So today we're gonna learn a quick editing tutorial for like buildings and outdoor photography in dark in bright conditions, and we're also gonna learn how to deal with like exposing for the sky and for the buildings and how you should really shoot buildings. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna jump right into Lightroom here, and here we have a pretty okay picture of a building that I took. I'd give this picture as it is like a 3 out of a 10. But hopefully that'll come up to like a 7 or an 8 by the end of this video. And first thing we're gonna start by doing here is we're gonna go to the crop and the angle, because this line right here could be a little more straight. So I'm gonna use that as my guide point to straighten the photo out. And now the photo looks a little better. The building looks more in place. But I think there's too much sky at the top of the photo, so I'm gonna crop this photo down just a little and put that right there. Now I'm really liking that, so it's starting to look a little better composition wise, because about 3/4 of the entire photo is our subject. The reason I shot this photo the way I shot it is I wanted to expose for the sky, which is something you have to understand, because highlights can get blown out really easily. We can always bring the shadows back. But it's also important you understand what kind of camera you're dealing with and what your camera's capabilities are. I shot this photo on my Nikon D750 with a 50mm 1.8, and that's all it took to shoot this photo. I shot it to expose for the sky, so the sky is nice and blue, but the building's kind of dark. So we're gonna go into this basic adjustments, and the basic adjustment tool right here, it's to basically get the image to where you can start being creative with it. So these are very basic adjustments, but they kind of set up the image for more edits. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm definitely gonna bring those shadows up so we could see that building better. And then I might actually bring the contrast up, no, the exposure up just a little, and increase the contrast, because when you bring the shadows up, kind of decreases the contrast a little. And the whites I might bring up a little, and then the blacks I'm going to bring down just to add some of that contrast back into the photo. Now we won't deal with the clarity, the dehaze, vibrance, saturation just yet. We're going to deal with that after we do all the edits. That's just how I like to do it. So right here, the tone curve, it could be pretty complicated when you're looking at it for the first time, but it's actually not that hard. Up here is your highlights, and down here is your shadows and darks. So right now I'm gonna fade my blacks by going up just a little and bring my blacks down, and then I'm gonna bring my highlights up a bit and fade the highlights just a little. So this is a very basic tone curve adjustment. This is what we call S-curve. Probably heard it before. So now this photo's starting to look pretty alright. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna go to the luminance in our color selection, and I think this orange could definitely pop out a little more on the side of this building here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this tool. Now this tool will let you select multiple colors at once, because not everything's gonna be red, orange, yellow, green, right? You need to combine a lot of colors to make these colors. So I'm gonna select this spot right here. It looks like that's a good orange and red. I'm gonna bring the luminance up on that. Maybe I'll do something right around here too. Right, it should bring up the luminance. Let's bring up the saturation for the orange just a little. Yeah, I like that. Let's see if we could. Yeah, I'm gonna bring the oranges a little to the more orangish red side, right? The yellows I might increase just a little. And yeah, that part of the image is starting to look pretty good, right? It's starting to like pop a little more. And with this brown, I'm gonna bring this luminance up too. It's a magenta and brownish color. Yeah. So that's starting to look a little better. Yeah, I'm liking where that's at so far. So now what we're gonna do, I'm gonna mask this photo a little so that all the highlights or all the whites are gonna be sharpened. So if we zoom in a lot here, our whites are gonna look nice and crisp. So this photo's starting to look a little better. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back up to the colors and go to the hue, and for the blues, I always like my blues to be a little more aqua. It's just how I like my blues. So I'm gonna go right about there. That looks pretty good. I'm gonna lower the saturation just a little. Yep, there we go. Yeah, so it's starting to look a little better. But one thing, one really common color palette is your blues and your orange, and I'm gonna try making this building a little more orange. I'm gonna go up here and maybe add some warmth into the photo. Yes, that should do it. So I'm gonna come back down here. Now this is one of my favorite sliders in Lightroom. It's called the blue primary slider. It makes all your oranges orange and all your blues more blue. But it does a lot more, and it kind of brings the image together a lot. And if we put that right around there, we should see how vibrant that image just got. But I'm gonna bring the saturation down just a little because I think it's a bit too vibrant for my taste. And we could mess around with the red primary, and I like where that is because I'm trying to make this point the I'm trying to edit for this right now. We're gonna do something with this building later because the building looks like a brick right now. So now let's go down to the clarity, the dehaze, and vibrance. So I'm gonna increase the vibrance, which just makes your colors pop, and then I'm gonna bring down the saturation just to even it out a little, because right now it's way too punchy. So I'm gonna bring it right around there, and then I'm gonna add some clarity into the photo. Now immediately clarity adds a lot of detail, adds another dimension into the photo, and I'm liking how that looks right now. Clarity, I'm gonna keep it around like 35-ish. And dehaze, let's see what, I might just add a little dehaze in. So I think that looks pretty good right now. But right here, this right side of the building, the brick looks really washed out and kind of dark. It doesn't match the vibe that the left side of the photo is giving off. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go here to the graduated filter, and I'm gonna slide that across. So I'm just gonna brighten the building a little. I'm just gonna bring the exposure up. Yep, I'm liking that. And then we can make a little more orange just to add that a different, a more warm vibe to the building. And I might, yeah, I'm gonna bring the highlights out a little, and then the shadows I might bring out just a little. Yep, so right now that looks pretty good. I'm actually gonna go in here, maybe decrease the exposure just a little bit, and maybe I might bring that out a little more. Yeah, there we go. That looks pretty good to me so far. So if we look at the before and the after, huge difference in how this looks. And you could do a lot more edits to this, like adding your own clouds, or making this picture more interesting, maybe an airplane flying over. If y'all want to see a future video of me doing that, I'll gladly make it. But right now I just wanted to make this a quick editing tutorial on how to work with your colors and your images, and how to edit and just get used to Lightroom. So I'm gonna be dropping a lot more of these type videos, and I'm gonna be dropping a lot of portrait videos and how to shoot them, how to edit portraits, headshots, a lot coming. So hit that sub button and check your boy out on Instagram, because this photo is about to go on there today. And if you guys have any future video ideas that you want to see or want to see me shoot, drop them in the comments. I do read all of them. Thank you for watching. I'll see y'all next time.